Tron Ares was not very good. Now, before I go into this movie and tear it apart, for the few people that actually care about Michael Morbius's latest dumpster fire, I will be spoiling the movie. So if you haven't watched the movie yet and you don't want to get spoiled, this is your chance to click off. Tron Ares is not very good. The characters are forgettable, the storyline is bland, the pacing for the first 30 minutes had me scratching my head. When I hit the first motorcycle chase scene, it felt like the movie was in its final. Then the scientist girl got shot into the grid, and I realized the movie had only just started. And I'm not calling her scientist girl for a bit or anything. I really don't know her name. That's how forgettable these characters are. The only name I remember is Ares, because it's the name of the movie. So yeah, these characters are forgettable. And I'd say a good 70% of them are pointless and don't do anything anyway. Now, for the characters that actually matter, we have Ares, played by everyone's favorite method actor, Jared Leto. And yes, he's not very good in this. But in his defense, he is playing an AI man. He's not exactly meant to give off much emotion. I'm not even saying this because I'm a Jared Leto fan or anything. I don't think I ever could be after that. But again, I can't completely blame him for this. And his co-lead, Greta Lee, isn't gonna win any Oscars either. She plays the scientist girl called Eve Kim, who owns a company that's trying to bring computers to life, just like in Pixels. But there's a rival company trying to do the same thing, only they're evil, and they're being led by Quicksilver. However, neither company can keep their pixel creations in the real world for more than 29 minutes. Fortunately, the guy from the first movie made a MacGuffin that fixes the problem, and then Eve finds it, and Quicksilver sends his OC, Ares, to go have a little talk with her. However, upon talking to a woman for the first time, Ares then experiences emotions for the first time, and we've done this story before, so I won't waste your time. We also get Athena, who's basically Ares, but just bad and without the plot armor. And last but certainly the least, we have Quicksilver's mom, whose sole purpose is to tell his son that he's stupid and then die. I'm not joking, the movie is so predictable that when she said her first line, I remember thinking to myself, that's a character that's gonna die. I don't remember what exactly she said. All I remember is that in that moment, I knew that the writing was on the wall for this woman. Now, as far as the rest of the characters go, they don't matter. But the characters aren't the only stupid thing this movie has to offer, like the constant nostalgic references to the first movie. I mentioned it earlier, but this movie is trying so hard to make you remember that first Tron movie, and I will never understand why movies still do this. One or two references here and there are fine, and even throwing in the Kevin Flynn cameo is fine because it's integrated well into the story. But there are so many references, and all it did, like all the other movies that try this, is just pull me out of the movie, and I just think, man, that was jarring. I can only take so many times that Jared Leto reminds me just how much he loves the 80s. There's a scene where Ares throws Eve a Rubik's Cube because of the first movie, and it's done in slow motion. Forget about the nostalgia for just a second, and all this scene is someone giving someone else a Rubik's Cube. Why put that in slow motion? I don't know, but it did make me laugh. Is that a good thing? Probably not. Anyway, along with the overwhelming nostalgia, the plot is also really stupid. For a movie about a bunch of smart-ass nerds, these characters make a lot of dumb decisions. For instance, Quicksilver rants multiple times to the most complex and intelligent AI there is about how expendable he is and how easy he is to make. This, of course, is one of the reasons Ares becomes a good guy. There's also a part towards the end where Athena is making her vehicle for the final battle. She can make whatever she wants, and she chooses to make a recognizer. And sure, it's got a lot of lasers, but come on, you could have attached a bunch of lasers on top of one of the cool wingsuits. Those actually did things. Instead, she flies this giant slow ship for a bit and then it gets shot down. Great. Also, that 29-minute timer thing just doesn't matter. I think Athena took a good hour to get to the final battle. Now, I want to talk about what I think is the most disappointing thing about Tron Ares. That being the use of the grid. The grid is the most interesting thing about the franchise. And if we're being honest, it's probably the main reason why people like that first Tron movie, outside of, I guess, props for being so groundbreaking with CGI. In Ares, excluding the nostalgia scene with Flynn, most of the grid scenes are just in Jared Leto's bedroom, which sucks because one of the few things I actually liked was like the 2 scenes we got exploring the grid. That one scene where Ares went to get Eve's data, and Ares had to take on a whole army of those blue guys was so fun and colorful. I was so ready to get on board with this movie and see more of the grid. But no, we spend most of our time in the real world. While we're on the topic of the few things I actually liked, for the most part, the music is pretty good, and while some parts were hard to see because of all the edgy black polygons, this movie does look pretty good, and the light walls were used pretty well. Also, at least Ares has moved the franchise in a direction. Now that presumably the average Joe has access to the grid, maybe we could see people using the grid in more of an everyday sort of sense. Or, alternatively, users could pit programs against each other in a gladiator sort of way, or maybe make a sport out of it. I don't know. It doesn't matter anyway. Based on how long these movies take to come out, we're not gonna get one of these in a while. Whilst that first movie was groundbreaking for the times, this franchise really isn't that big. Outside of Jeff Bridges' charisma, there isn't a lot that first movie has to offer. And that second movie, I am not kidding, made me fall asleep.
Thanks for selecting this unreasonably long cutscene.
Anyway, the third installment of the Tron trilogy gets a generous 5 out of 10. It may not have been good, but neither have the other movies. This will not kill the franchise. If you enjoyed this video, then why not like and subscribe? It helps support the channel and it means you don't miss any new content. Thanks for watching.